Today's guest is Salma, a work-from-home mother wanting to ensure she's making smart financial decisions. Welcome to the show, Salma.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
Now, making smart financial decisions is important, and I want everybody to make smart financial decisions. But before we dive into that, tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I was born in Niagara Falls, but grew up in Vancouver with a short stint in very cold Winnipeg for 6 years. Yep.
What was happening in Winnipeg?
Well, my husband was going to school there, and so we moved there, ended up having my kids there before we moved back to Vancouver.
Do you miss the snow?
That is the one thing I don't miss.
What were you doing for a career in Winnipeg?
In Winnipeg, I was actually a producer at Breakfast Television, where I would work super early in the morning, 5:30 a.m., be done by 2 o'clock, and it was great. I loved it.
And what are you doing now?
Well, I'm doing pretty much the opposite. I don't go into work. I work from home. I'm a work-at-home mom. I'm a blogger, a writer, and I really enjoy it.
And are you generating income from that? Is it more a hobby or is it a business?
Well, it started off as a hobby. I used to do it on the side while I was working at Breakfast Television. But when I moved back to Vancouver, I decided that I wanted to be at home with my kids and decided to take blogging from a hobby to a career. And now I have started making an income from it.
Tell me a little bit about blogging. What really is blogging?
I know, it's a term you hear all the time, everywhere. I know everyone's a blogger, right? Basically, blogging, when I started it, it was just a way to kind of connect with other parents, and because being a parent can be kind of lonely sometimes, so it's nice to just connect with others who are going through the same thing as you. But as it progressed, it kind of became a way to reach out to other parents, because we're all experiencing the same things, but this way I could share and maybe help from my experiences.
But then how do you turn it into a hobby and just writing and helping others to then making money at it?
Right. So basically what I did is I went from writing once a week to maybe writing 3 or 4 times a week. I would write about, crafts with the kids, recipes, parenting things that I went through that other people could relate to. And then what happens from that is sometimes companies and brands come to you and they're like, well, can you write about this, but make it in an authentic way that relates to your life? So basically that's what I would do. It was maybe a product, or it might be an event, or it might be something, but I would relate it to my life if it was something that was authentic to me.
And then you would get paid to do that.
Exactly.
So how did having a family shift your career plans and or your financial situation?
It's so funny that you ask me that, because growing up, the 2 things that I never wanted to do was I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and as I was going into my career, I never wanted to own my own business. I just wanted to be a creative and do what I like to do.
And now you're doing both combined into one.
I'm like the exact opposite. I'm working from home, I stay at home with my kids, and I'm running my own business.
And are you loving it?
I love it. I absolutely love it.
So you think you maybe just had this wrong idea of what that looked like?
I think what it is that motherhood, it just changes your whole perspective on life. What you want to do, where you want to be. It really is such a big shift. And I think that's why what I wanted to do in life shifted as well.
Well, what's your big question for me today?
Well, my big question for you today is basically, what can I be doing to make sure that my family is financially secure in the future? It's something I think about a lot.
Great. Well, I'm going to help you with that. So don't go away. Learn the 5 steps to taking control of your finances so you can feel secure about your future when we return.
The Wealthy Life is brought to you by investment dealer Raymond James. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
Welcome back. We're here with Salma to learn how to be financially secure for life. Salma, being a work-from-home mother of 2 children,
yeah, that's right, 2.
Must keep you busy.
It definitely does.
What does financial security mean to you? What does that look like?
Well, basically, feeling like we're going into the future, and I know that we're not going to be worrying about money. Just basically feeling secure.
Yeah, and I get that question a lot, and people, it's very hard to put a specific answer or pinpoint it at the end of the day. because our list of what we want to buy keeps expanding the more money we make. And people just want to know they have a roof over their head and food on the table. But really, that's not enough. They also want those new shoes, and they want to send their kids to dance classes and sporting events and all those things. But you don't ever want to be in a situation where you need money for something critical and you don't have it. Would that be a fair comment?
I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Completely.
And so I have a process that really helps people feel on top of their finances. There's 5 steps to controlling your finances. Step number 1 is analyzing your cash flow. So you want to have a look at, write down on paper, how much income do you have coming in? Does your husband have coming in? And then write down all of your expenses. Where's your money going? And if you don't want to write down all your expenses, you can pull up credit card statements. You could log all of your information into a program called mint.com. It's a free app that really helps manage it. But at the end of the day, you want to look at, is your income greater than your expenses? Are you currently saving?
We are trying to, yes.
Good.
Yes.
There is no try, there is only do.
Okay, we are saving.
So you need to save.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a minute. But the first step is you got to make sure that you've got more money coming in than is going out, so that you have a little bit of a buffer that can go into savings. Now, if they don't match, you've got to fix something. You got to change something. And you have full control over that, whether you believe it or not. There's lots of ways to make more money. You could go back to a full-time work. You could look at a business plan and ramp up your own business to generate more income. Your husband may look for a different job, or there's lots of ways to bring in more income. You could cut expenses.
Yes.
That's never fun, but you could. Okay, so that's step number 1. Step number 2 is you want to analyze your net worth. So you want to list all of your assets, like house, vehicles, investments, and all your debt, your liabilities. The number should be positive.
Okay.
It should be positive. Your assets should be more than your liabilities. If not, you've got some work to do. Okay. And over time, that should get bigger and bigger as you pay down debt and build up more equity. Number 3 is set goals.
Okay.
Have you set some financial goals for yourself?
We actually do have a big one. In the future, we rent right now, so we definitely like to own a home.
Great.
Yeah.
So if you were to rent, what would you pay in month approximately for rent?
I would say maybe about $3,000.
And if you were to buy, how much would a house like that cost?
Probably $1 million, maybe a little bit more.
So $1 million home is going to cost you about $6,000 a month in payments, which is double what you're paying right now.
Right.
If you're disciplined enough to save, not try, but do, and put that extra $3,000 a month in investments, you'd need to earn about 6% per year, so that after 25 years, you have the same amount of equity as if you bought the house. So just food for thought. And then the number 4 thing is have a plan.
Right.
So once you've set some goals, you got to put a plan in place to achieve it. And a big part of that plan is saving. And step 5 is protecting your family. You've got 2 kids and a husband. Protecting your family means that if something happens to you or your husband, the rest of the family is going to be okay. Now, do either you or your husband have life insurance?
We do. We do have life insurance.
Good.
Yes.
It's important to review that and make sure it's enough to cover all of the expenses. Disability insurance is also important. If something happened to you and you couldn't work, your husband may be okay financially as a family because he's bringing in more of the income, it sounds right now. But what if he had to stop working to take care of you? That's where disability insurance or critical illness insurance may be important.
Okay.
So you want to protect the family.
Okay.
So do you feel, after going through all 5 of these steps, if you do, you'll be more in control and confident about your financial future?
I do. All those steps make a lot of sense. I think it's just taking the time to sit together, looking at everything you mentioned and actually doing it.
So do, not try.
I will. I will do. I will do.
Salma, thanks for coming on the show today. It's been great having you.
Thank you so much.
And stay tuned. What you need to know before you divorce is up next.